Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 4 of the Tour of Valencia. Now, I've been promising you guys an exciting stage race here, and there's a reason why I opened up the Butterfly 2025 starting here at Valencia, because I knew these would be exciting stages. We got good GC battles, and right now we got two guys separated by 2 seconds. It's Almeida from UAE Team Emirates holding the race leader's jersey, and it's Santiago Buitrago from Bahrain Victorious who won stage 2. That's only 2 seconds behind Almeida. It was an exciting flip-flop of time bonuses positions between Almeida yesterday taking the first time bonuses at the top of the climb, and then at the finish with Santiago Buitrago stealing some seconds back from Almeida yesterday. Didn't win the stage, but second and third still gives you time bonuses over third place. So Santiago Buitrago's 2 seconds back. We start looking at a couple of the post-races interviews here from Brandon McNulty. He says there's a lot of scenarios that can play out. He's correct, because at 181 kilometers, call it about 115 miles in length, with 4 categorized climbs, and the last category 1 finishing just past midway on this stage, anything can happen. It could be something where a break would go up the road, but Bahrain Victorious are only 2 seconds behind, so they would certainly want to control the race and keep it all tight together for time bonuses or time bonuses at the finish of the stage for Santiago Buitrago. So that's not a high scenario, but it's a possibility. Should be what happens is there should be a ton of attacks going all day long, and the race should be incredibly hard and fast. Well, we go back and look at the interview from Lidl Trek's Jakob Soderqvist, and he says, well, Trek want to hold it together. I've been telling you guys since stage 1 finish that Lidl Trek have a shot at winning stage 4 and possibly winning stage 5. So going back-to-back stage victories. 5 looks really doable for Johnny Milan. But then on stage 2, they were trying to keep the race leader's jersey after the team time trial with Vasek. They spent a ton of energy that day. I called them knuckleheads. And then after the stage, when they kept the jersey, I said, maybe I'm a knucklehead. Well, we'll have to find out, because you got to go deeper into the stages to figure out how much work stage 2 and stage 3 cost Lidl Trek. Because stage 4, I told you, they'd have a shot at winning with Johnny Milan possibly being able to take stage 4. Well, now when the racing comes on with 60 kilometers to go, we see that up there it's Pablo Castrillo from Movistar, and he's flying past a couple guys from the original break. Those guys are Diego from Kern Pharma, and then it's Hugo Ulf from Premier Tech. As he drops both of those guys, he's going straight up to John Aguirre there from Escatel Escati. Aguirre, though, is swinging on the back. They've probably been in the break all day. I don't know for sure how long, because the camera's just turned on, but we know Pablo Castrillo is flying, going up these narrow, twisty climbs. I show you a picture of what this course looked like here in the south of Spain. Not all the way south, but over there in Valencia, it's on the coast. And you start looking at how hilly it is. It's all narrow, mountainous, and all the way after the category 1, it's still lumpy, bumpy, downhills, twisty, narrow, curvy race all the way to the finish, with a slight uphill drag all the way to the finish. Slight, probably 5%, maybe a little bit more on the last 1 kilometer going up to the finish of today's stage. So Pablo Castrillo right now pulling on the front with John holding on for dear life back there. The gaps will start to extend a little bit, but when we go back and look at the peloton chasing, UAE Team Emirates are on the front. Lidl Trek is lined up, sitting second team right now. Johnny Milan is in the picture. Vasek is in the picture, and he crashed yesterday. Was holding the race leader's yellow jersey, but both their fast guys are in the picture right now, and the whole Lidl Trek look like they definitely want a shot at winning today's stage, like Soderqvist told us in the earlier interview. Well, with UAE Team Emirates holding the gap, it's going to extend up to about 2 minutes. Then we start seeing how difficult this stage is with 47 kilometers to go. We see a little communication there from Danul Lidl Trek talking over to Almeida, because his teammates have just dropped off the back there, and that's Johnny Milan going back there. You can't see him in the picture, but he's at the back, as Danul's probably, I can imagine, talking over here, UAE Team Emirates Almeida, hey, keep the pace a little bit more gentle going up this climb right now, and we'll help you guys afterwards, because we want to win this stage. If we win the stage, we take time bonuses away from Bahrain Victorious, which means Almeida just needs to finish in the front group without any splits, and he can win the general classification, assuming Santiago Buitrago's not in front of him in second place or third place. So there's still some crazy racing to come into detail, but now there's a little bit of alliance happening between Lidl Trek and Almeida's UAE Team Emirates. Now we look back to see how hard the race is going. Well, you see that split back there now with the peloton cut off, and about, well, maybe a fourth of the peloton, fifth of the peloton back there split off, and Lidl Trek's back there trying to close the gap because Johnny Milan's in there. they'll close it back up. And then we see Bahrain Victorious get on the front with about 40 kilometers to go. As they're on the front, we see John Aguirre Escatel pop off the wheel of Pablo Castrillo. Once he does, Pablo's going solo here for Movistar, but it's 40 kilometers to go. I don't care how big the gap is at 40 kilometers to go. You're getting brought back if you got sprinter teams wanting to bring you back. If you're high on the general classification, because he's just over a minute back on UAE team members Almeida, so UAE team members have to keep the gap close. Bahrain Victorious wants sprint time bonifications here at the finish of today's stage. Lots of other teams want to win the stage, so Pablo going solo, ooh, this is going to hurt, especially when you're that close on general classification. So he's going solo. Bahrain Victorious do a little bit of work. Then we see the next team getting on the front. It's Jaco Alula at 35 kilometers to go. Once they get on the front, we're going to go down to about 30 kilometers to go, and all of a sudden we see the time gap now at about 45 seconds. Once he gets down to 45 seconds, you know for sure he's getting brought back. There's no doubt about it. We come into 15 kilometers to go. There's this crazy left turn, and we see that Pablo Castrillo has to jump through. He's got the bricks there. There's a pole where you're supposed to make the left. But the race organizers have done a fantastic job of making a very, very dangerous left turn here, of highlighting the best they possibly can. We'll see in the lower right corner of your screen right there, that's the peloton shooting there with Lidl Trek on the front. They have gotten motivated. They've always been near the front and helping out from time to time, especially with 35 kilometers to go. But now at 15, they're all over the front and they're excited. Things are getting nervous. Almeida from UAE Team Emirates is a little bit out of position. I'm going to assume it was that left turn. We see him come back up to the front. Now we're coming under about 10 kilometers to go. I'll call it 9.5. And Pablo Castrillo is getting caught for Movistar. As he gets caught, it is now time with 9 kilometers to go for Ineos to put their plan A into work right here. They knew everything would come back together, so we see it's Bob Jungels throwing in a huge acceleration. He's got Foss on his wheel and our Ensman. We see just behind them, UAE Team Emirates are still in the picture for sure. Lidl Trek's around the picture, but as we see Bob Jungels drilling it on the front, this is going to take Vasek Lidl Trek out of the picture. He's dropping out of the picture. That's leaving 2 up there. Those 2 guys is Soderqvist, Jakob. He's been fantastic here at Valencia. And it's Johnny Milan, the Giro d'Italia winner. Those 2 guys are still in the picture. But as we see Bob Jungels blow, now it's time for Tobias Foss. With the speed of Tobias Foss, he's throwing down on the pedals. Everybody's hurting. Then we see Cepeda from Movistar throw an attack. We saw him attacking yesterday, Brandon McNulty up the big climb, but now it's rolling, dicey, lefts and rights, narrow roads. So Cepeda's full on the attack. We see our Ensman come off Foss's wheel there and try to follow Cepeda, but he can't. He's got UAE Team Emirates on his wheel, and I'll call it Brandon McNulty following with our Ensman as Cepeda's getting a gap. As Cepeda goes over the top of the rolling hills here, he's going down a descent, and we look back, Lidl Trek is out of the picture. The peloton is blown up. Look at the back picture here as everything's blown up to pieces. We go and look at the front group. I'll call it 20 guys. No Lidl Trek is in this front move, and UAE Team Emirates are driving it because Cepeda's a threat on the general classification at about 35 seconds back from Almeida. So Brandon McNulty has to go to work here. Does not have to bring Cepeda back, but he's got to keep him close. If Cepeda can take some time bonuses, even better for UAE Team Emirates Almeida. But Almeida's having some positioning problems, and he's getting a little bit lost coming down this descent. He's not the best of descenders that I've seen throughout my time on the Butterfly Effect, so we'll call him in about 17th position. Now we're coming into just about 6.5 kilometers to go. Lidl Trek has found their way back onto the front group here, and they're flying by Almeida. As they fly by Almeida, this is pushing them even further back, and up front, Cepeda's going full gas solo still. Now behind, we start seeing Sivakov, Brandon McNulty on the front. Our Ensman's in the picture too for Ineos as they're pulling full gas. The gap is up to about 15, 17 seconds, and we look a little bit further back, and Almeida's still out of position. It'll take him all the way into about 4 kilometers to go, and then he puts himself back up in the front group, and with 2.5 kilometers to go, he's side by side there with Santiago Buitrago. You have to stay incredibly close to Santiago Buitrago because there's time bonuses that I've been talking about throughout this whole week of Valencia, and there's only 2 seconds separating these guys. So Almeida's been out of position, but with 4 kilometers to go, he's back in position. Now we come under 2.5. I'll call it about 2.3 2.3, 2.1. This is the time for Liddell Trek, Jakob Soderqvist to start getting on the front. As Jakob's on the front, he's got Johnny Milan sitting on his wheel. Liddell Trek are trying to win this stage. Did they waste too much energy on stage 2 and 3? Well, I don't know the question for that. Maybe I was a knucklehead for telling you guys that they should just give up the jersey on 2 or 3 and focus on 4 and 5. But we're going to find out right now as Soderqvist is on the front, drilling it full gas. They hit this little bit of a bump. And we'll see there Ivan Romeo. Ivan Romeo won yesterday's stage from Movistar. He's pulling out just a little bit from 3rd, 4th position there. As he pulls out, we look, it's Johnny Vermeersch from Albacete de Koenig coming up there with about 1.8 kilometers to go. And he's passing Ivan Romeo. Romeo doesn't like it. He comes back up. Look at him swing hard to the right. Then he swings hard to the left and just goes bumping and sends the shoulder there into Johnny Vermeersch and knocks him off at the road into the ditch. Johnny Vermeersch keeps the bike upright, amazingly enough. But up front, Soderqvist looks back just for a second, but he's going full gas because he's still got to catch Cepeda, who's going solo here on stage 4. Now we're coming into about 1.1 kilometer to go. We'll see that Santiago Buitrago's in good position. But Almeida's sitting 12th. Santiago Buitrago's about top 5, top 7 right there. And there are 5, 6 guys separating Almeida from Santiago Buitrago. And this is a dangerous move. I highlighted it on yesterday's stage 3 of the Volta a Catalunya coming into 1 kilometer to go that Almeida was just a little bit too far back before they hit that 1K mark as they were coming through the roundabout. But there was a different guys on the front then. Then it was GC guys on the front. Now it's Soderqvist on the front, and he's trying to bring back Cepeda with Johnny Milan on his wheel. As we see coming under 1 kilometer to go, Cepeda's still got a gap here. I'll call it about 15 seconds, but the clock's off now. If I rewind the clock a little bit to the last time we saw it, though, we'll call it 15 as they showed. But right now, it could be as low as 10. We don't know. But Cepeda's throwing everything in the pedal. We know that for sure. Now, as we look back, Jakob Soderqvist there is going full gas. We're hitting 900 meters to go. And look there as the gap starts to open up just in front of the Ineos rider. We see UAE team member, it's Sivakov's trying to close the gap. And then the cameras come off the front race leaders, guys. It goes back to where we'll see Ivan Romeo knocking Johnny Vermeersch off the road. I don't know why they're going back with 900 meters to go up front. But finally, the cameras come back up front. And we see that the Ineos rider Arnsman's closing the gap back up. But UAE Team Emirates, Sivakov's having a problem. Now we start seeing that Liddell Trek's throwing down on the pedals as Cepeda's still solo up the road. We come into about 550 meters to go. Check out how cool this picture looks right here. As everything's starting to blow up, Ineos is coming off the back. Pale Bilbao is looking over his left shoulder back at Santiago Buitrago. But look at Johnny Milan sitting second wheel. As I take a guess on which the order happens now, Pale Bilbao, I'm sure, is yelling to Santiago Buitrago, you got to go. There's a gap behind you. And Almeida is not in the picture. Up front, as we see Johnny Milan, once he looks forward, I know for sure he's telling Jakob Soderqvist right now, punch it, go. There's a gap behind us and my legs are blowing. So we see Jakob jump onto the pedals, full sprinting. Now, how did Jakob interpret the conversation at full speed when he's been pulling on the front for almost 2K? I don't know if he's interpreting it the right way, but he's sprinting full gas. As he's sprinting full gas, Cepeda's getting caught. As Cepeda's getting caught there from Jakob, look behind, and we see it's Santiago Buitrago. He's catching Johnny Milan. Now he's going to shoot between Cepeda and Johnny Milan right in the middle there on the left side of the road, kind of, sort of, as he passes between two of them. He's got Soderqvist just in his sights. He's going to come up to the back wheel of Soderqvist at about 350 meters to go. He's going to pass him on the right side as Soderqvist is looking to the left down the road. Then he looks right. He sees that it's Santiago Buitrago, Bahrain victorious, flying by him on the right. With 300 meters to go, Santiago Buitrago looks back over his shoulder. He knows he's got a gap on everyone. And guess what? It's 1, 1, 1, and 1 back there. So Santiago Buitrago's leading. It's Jakob in second. It's Johnny Milan in third. Fourth, who's that in fourth? That's Riley Sheehan, Israel Premier Tech, the American rider. But guess what? Almeida's not in the picture, and we're under 300 meters to go. We go back up here now to the race leader as we start looking at Santiago Buitrago. He knows coming in with 150 meters to go, he's going to win today's stage, and he's going to take the race leader's jersey. So he sits up and celebrates as he crosses the line. His teammates, well, they're not quite second like they had on stage 2, but his teammates are right behind behind as Johnny Milan's coming through first as he caught his teammate there. That was a mistake to tell him to go. By the way, Johnny Milan, your teammate was on the front for 2K, but you get second on the stage, third on the stage. Yak up there is getting third on the stage for Liddell Trek. Fourth on the stage, Riley Sheehan gets fourth on the stage, the American rider for Israel Premier Tech. And then we start seeing the next group come through all at the same time, and that's the race leaders yellow jersey finishing seventh, about 10 seconds back. So we know UAE team members, Almeida is not going to hold the race leaders jersey after today's stage because it goes up to the Bahrain victorious rider who won today's stage, Santiago Buitrago, to give him 2 victories. And as he crossed the line, he showed you 2 fingers. He's going to celebrate because this is going to be his first stage race victory in the European peloton throughout his career, assuming he can hold on to it for tomorrow's sprint stage. Now, what went wrong? Well, I gave you guys a glimpse of it in yesterday's stage 3. At 1.2 kilometers coming through the roundabout, Almeida was in the wrong position. What does he think when he gives his interview? Well, that's basically what he says in his interview. The team raced great. They did. You guys were fantastic. UAE team members were fantastic. But as everything gets closer to the finish line, everything has to be done more right. And Almeida was out of position from 15 kilometers to go all the way through the technical difficult descents. He got him back into position with 4 kilometers, held it to 2.5, but then got lost just over 1.1 kilometer. We'll call it 1.1 kilometer to go, where he was 12th and 7th with Santiago Buitrago, if not 6th. That separation was there. And the difference between yesterday's race and today's race was you have a lead-out team rider on the front, Jakob going full gas for Johnny Milan, versus yesterday was GC guys coming into that finish yesterday. So Almeida can make up for that positioning that he was in bad spot, but today he couldn't because Jakob was going full gas and blew the group up. So that's the big mistake. Called it out yesterday, now it happened and repeated itself today. But Almeida admitted it so in his interview. He's very disappointed, it sounded like, from his interview, as he should be. If you lost on time bonuses to Santiago Buitrago, no big deal. The kid's fast. There's nothing you can do, and there's no reason crying over spilt milk if you lost by time bonuses. But to lose in positioning, that's a hard way to take it when you're Almeida and you haven't won stage races throughout your career and you're considered a fantastic stage racer. I mean, he's a baller, right? But can never quite close the deal. Been about 4 years since his last stage race victory, and he had a chance to get it here but lost it. Now tomorrow should be a stage for the sprinters. Can Johnny Milan and Liddell Trek, after today's ride, after stage 1, after stage 2, after stage 3, after today's stage 4, can they win the field sprint in stage 5? I don't know, but like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for tomorrow's stage 5 of Valencia real soon.